Have you ever traveled to another country and thought, wow, these people really think they're better than everyone else? I have. When you realize this on a trip, it comes in the form of someone bashing your country while explaining how great theirs is. We ran a survey last summer and asked people to choose the country where people think they're better than everyone else. We received almost 5,000 votes and a handful of explanations. And before you start typing in all caps, relax. This is an observational opinion survey. Every country on this list has some legit accomplishments. They also have a little swagger, some earned, some inherited, some just because that's how they do things. So today we're counting down 10 countries that think they're better than everyone else. Let's take a look. Number 10, Australia. Australia has relaxed confidence that feels almost effortless. Beaches, urban centers, strong economy, and a lifestyle that many countries market but don't quite achieve. There's also the we survived the outback factor. A continent filled with extreme terrain and wildlife that looks like it came from a fever dream tends to toughen up the population. Now, even though everyone from Australia hasn't hung out in the outback for, part of their life, to outsiders, you get the vibe they have. Australia often carries a laid-back swagger. The tone is casual, the message is clear, the quality of life is high, the weather is generous, and if you can handle the spiders, you're probably going to enjoy it. Now, here's the fun part. North Americans, not just people from the US, seem to think that Australians look down their nose at them like they're stupid and they don't have all the answers, and Australians do. Australia got 147 votes. Number 9, China. China's confidence stretches back thousands of years. Dynasties, inventions, cultural continuity. It's one of the oldest civilizations still operating at scale. Modern China combines ancient identity with rapid economic expansion. Skyscrapers rise fast, infrastructure builds fast, influence expands fast. There's a long memory at work. When your history spans a millennia, short-term turbulence feels temporary. That perspective fuels a powerful national belief in resurgence and central importance. China's an interesting one. They're kind of ruling the world in a lot of areas these days. Wasn't too long ago where this was just a mining and farming country. They had a peasant army. Basically, people brought out of the fields, given a little bit of training, and handed a rifle. With a population as big as they had, that was a formidable army right there because there was millions of them. Even to this day, back in 2024, they were boasting an army of just over 2 million. While India had 1.4 million, the US had 1.3. The difference is China's no longer just a peasant army. They actually have some skilled soldiers. So some of their arrogance on a political scale comes from where they sit on the world economic pecking order. Now, a lot of the comments that I got on this survey were about China, and their opinion of a lot of Europeans and North Americans is we're lazy, and that's why they have all the manufacturing these days. I think it's more like they have the most workers with the lowest payroll. Nothing like working 12-hour days and getting paid for 3 of them. One person who was anonymous said that in the cities and the tourist areas, they smile and nod and treat you properly. If you get outside the cities and tourist areas, they treat you like a hermit who wandered into camp. China got 158 votes. Number 8, Italy. Italy has a flair for existing dramatically. Food isn't fuel, it's identity. Family isn't optional, it's infrastructure. Style isn't effort, it's oxygen. There's a lot of things that would make the people of Italy arrogant or feel they're better than everyone else. They have some of the most interesting history with that whole Roman Empire thing. Their food is amazing. Their wine is amazing. This country's got a lot going for it, and it's a sense of pride, which sometimes can seem like they think they're better than other places at a few things. I read a book about Italy back in the 1990s, and I always remember something that was in there. That in Italy, there's an unspoken belief that something isn't beautiful, it's unfinished. That attitude spills into everything from espresso to architecture to hand gestures that deserve their own subtitles. Yes, there is bureaucratic headaches here. Yes, infrastructure can wobble in Italy. But when you're casually surrounded by ruins older than most nations, you gain a certain swagger. The Roman Empire may have fallen, but the confidence stuck around. I like Italy. A lot of beautiful coastline, food, wonderful people, great stories about the Roman Empire and the mafia. They got a lot and they know it. Italy got 161 votes. Number 7, Japan. Japan's national pride is rooted in discipline and craftsmanship. The idea of doing something properly is taken very seriously. whether it's sushi preparation or train schedules. Excellence is not negotiable in this country. And if you're from a country like, let's say, the United States, that really doesn't follow the rules as much as we probably should, this gets under their skin. We have an employee here, and they say it drives them crazy because they're very much a rule-based society. Not they're being forced to, it's just expected, and so you do it that way. The United States culturally has more freedom, meaning they do whatever they want. That's how she roughly explained it to me. And it drives a lot of Japanese people crazy. But it's also not just us. This is Australia, she said, the United Kingdom, Canada. But in Japan, there's also this fascinating blend of ancient traditions and futuristic innovation. Shrines exist alongside robotic labs. Ceremonies coexist with high-speed rail. Japan as a country often feels like it's run on a different operating system. Orderly, efficient, deeply structured. The kind of cohesion creates confidence, not loud confidence, but steady, undeniable assurance. Japan got 210 votes. Number 6, Switzerland. What the hey, you people voted Switzerland on this list? How'd that happen? But here it is, number 6. Switzerland operates like a luxury watch that knows it's expensive. Clean cities, stable politics, a banking system that whispers discretion. It's not flashy, it's just very polished. There's a quiet pride in their neutrality, precision, and high standards. Public transportation runs flawlessly, infrastructure feels permanent, even the countryside looks curated. Swiss superiority doesn't boast. It lets performance speak. You know, when everything just works smoothly like it does in Switzerland, these poor Swiss people go to other countries like the United States, maybe Mexico, maybe Morocco, and they see a complete shit show, I'm sure they start feeling a little more superior than the rest of us. Switzerland got 219 votes. Number 5, the United States. Now, I'm a little blown away on this one. I thought for sure we'd be number 1. I mean, we are arrogant. We're the most powerful country economically and militarily. But America's superiority is bold and loud and sometimes gets wrapped in fireworks. The concept of we're number 1 isn't fringe here. It's mainstream. The belief that the country is uniquely destined for greatness runs deep. Innovation, military strength, pop culture dominance. The US exports movies, music, tech, and opinions at industrial scale. At the same time, Americans critique their own country relentlessly. It's a strange mix of pride and frustration. We're the best and we're a mess often exist in the same sentence. But underneath it all, there's a belief that no one does big quite like the US. In reality, that's just how we are here in the United States. In some states, we're a little more of that than others. Texas, for example. The US got 301 votes. Number 4, Germany. Germany believes in systems. Rules matter, efficiency matters, engineering matters a lot. When something works reliable, there's often a German blueprint somewhere nearby. Now, I've experienced a lot of German people in my life, and yeah, they do have a tendency to look down their nose at other people. You'd think with their history, they'd be a little more humble, but no, not these people. They seem like they got an axe to grind with everyone that's not German. But like Switzerland and sort of like Japan, there's a deep cultural respect for precision and competence. Timelines are taken seriously, standards are high, infrastructure is expected to function, and if your country doesn't have that, they're gonna look down their nose at you. Germany's confidence is less about flair and more about they don't think everyone else is pulling their weight. Germany got 412 votes. Number 3, Canada. All right, now, this is another one I don't agree with. I've never had anything but wonderful experiences with people from Canada. Well, there is one guy. I used to play hockey against him, and he'd hit a goalie in the crease. I was a goalie. He did not mind taking me out. The guy was constantly on suspension. And if you went in the corner, he was all elbows. This was an over 40 league. You know, we're supposed to tone it down a little bit once we get out of our 20s. Not this jackaloon. Anyway, Canada's superiority is wrapped around politeness, but don't mistake that for insecurity. There's a consistent narrative of being the calmer, more balanced version of its louder neighbor to the south. Healthcare, social stability, lower crime rates. Canadians often lean into the idea that they figured out a softer, steadier model of prosperity. They do. Talk to a Canadian. One of the first things they're going to bring up is how our healthcare system is horrible and theirs is better. Sure, they'll also complain about the amount of taxes they have to pay for it, but they'll still tell you that their healthcare is better. At least that's what they normally complain about. I'm sure this month they're going to be complaining about how they got their ass handed to them in the men's hockey gold medal game by the US. But that's not all Canada's all about. They got this geography flex too. Massive wilderness, stunning landscape, and cities that routinely rank high for livability. It's a quiet but persistent message. We're doing just fine here. We don't need your help. I am a little bothered by the number here. Okay, I could see them being on the list someplace. But at number 3, come on, people. Canada got 432 votes. Number 2, the United Kingdom. Now, the United Kingdom has burned a lot of countries in its history. And if you go to some of the smaller third world countries that had experience with them back in the day, they remember. Not like they were there, but they know their history too. So the United Kingdom carries centuries of empire in its posture. The map used to be red. That memory lingers. Even now there's an undercurrent of we've seen it all before. British superiority doesn't scream. It mutters something clever and then lets you catch up. I mean, the accent alone makes a mediocre opinion sound like academic research. There's also the monarchy factor. Pageantry, tradition, ritual. The UK runs on history the way the other countries run on Wi-Fi. And I think that's where a lot of their superiority feelings come from. The United Kingdom got 443 votes. All right, before we get to number 1, if you've not subscribed and you're not following us on Facebook, why not? There's a link for Facebook down below, and you can always subscribe anytime. I'd appreciate it. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, France. Yeah, I didn't see that one coming. Nah, actually, I'm sure everyone did. The French are frickin' rude. Sure, some of the best wine in the world, a bunch of cuisine I don't eat, and a very long history of thinking they're better than everyone else. I mean, that's been their whole gig since way back when, even before Napoleon. They thought they were all that, and they always have. That's just how they do it in France. Yes, in modern time, they still think they're better than everyone else, and that's how a lot of people see it. France doesn't just believe it's culturally superior. It treats culture like a competitive sport and assumes everyone else showed up late. Art, wine, again, cuisine, cinema, philosophy. If it can be done elegantly, the French believe they've refined it. There's actually a national pride in refinement. Meals aren't eaten, they're experienced. Vacations aren't trips, they're restoration rituals. Even protesting feels coordinated here. The French defend their language like it's a sacred architecture. And to be fair, when your capital looks like a 19th century painting at golden hour, you're going to develop a certain level of confidence. Subtle? No. Earned? Sometimes. France got 547 votes. Alright, that's today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Which one do you agree with? Which one do you disagree with? Let me know in the comment section. Everyone have a great day. Be nice to each other.